So I'll probably be understating the case if I tell you that the notes receivable section of this chapter is kind of a challenge, especially when you get to the homework. What I'm going to show you are sort of the basic scenarios that notes can have. What you have to do is to read each problem and determine exactly what needs to happen. So we're going to start with the easy one. Notes issued at face value with a realistic interest rate. So this is an interest rate where you're lending money at the rate that the borrower would have to pay on the open market at an arm's length transaction to borrow money. And it's the borrower, not your credit rating, that's important. So anyway, this is an example from the book, so as you're going back over the book, you can say, oh, that's what they were talking about, hopefully. So Bigelow lends to Scandinavian Imports $10,000 in exchange for a $10,000 3-year note with an interest rate of 10%. The market rate equals the stated rate on the note. So that means it's an interest, the interest is reasonable. Okay, so that's the information that we're given. Just to prove that, as we know, the notes receivable are supposed to be, and this is long-term, are supposed to be reported at the present value of the future principal and interest payments. So if we were to compute that, just to make sure that we've got the right thing going here, we could take the 10,000 and we want to do the present value factor of 3 years at 10%, which is this factor. So the principal comes out to 7,513. The annual interest payments, and we figure that by going 10,000 times 10% would be the annual interest of 1,000 that gets paid, or that is involved with this note. So the present value of those would be 2,487. And when you go this plus that, you get the present value of the note, which is what will happen when the market rate equals the stated rate of interest. Okay, so now what do we do with this problem? Let's go over and take a look. I usually start with, let's see, something like trying just to figure out what's going on. And you're going to have to set up little charts like this for each note. So year one, you start out with the carrying value of the note is 10,000, and that's going to be true right up till this note is paid off. Each year they're going to receive $1,000 interest, and that's going to be interest revenue on the note for each of the 3 years. Okay, so when we go to do the journal entries, you'd have the note receivable of 10,000 on the issue date. At the end of each year, they're going to receive the cash interest involved for that year of $1,000, and then at the due date of the note, you get the cash, and the notes receivable will be reduced. Okay, so that's the best case scenario. The only complication you run into there is when you have, you cross the end of the year and you have to accrue interest that's been earned but won't be received until the following year. So I would leave you on your own to look at brief exercise 7.7. If you have questions on it, let me know. And then for sort of a big annoying problem that really gets the point across, problem 7.7 is good, and that's where you get into interest across the various years. Okay.